That night the rain was falling as if the city was trying to wash away all its sins at once. The streets were nearly empty. Only the occasional car sped across the wet asphalt, their reflections shimmering in puddles, like ghosts on a night like that. Private Detective Daniel Carter received a phone call that at first seemed like someone's stupid prank. The phone rang at exactly 11:17 p.m. Help. If you're hearing this, it means I don't have much time left. A woman's voice trembled as if she were hiding somewhere, whispering. Daniel straightened in his chair. Who is this? Where are you? Silence filled the line, then the same voice, now barely audible, whispered. He thinks I didn't understand anything, but I saw the key, a red key, inside the clock. The call disconnected. Daniel stared at his phone for a few seconds. The number was hidden, no name, no location, just the strange phrase, a red key, in the clock. Over the years, he had heard everything, panic, threats, jokes, confessions, lies. But there was something different about that voice, not panic, not a prank. It was the terror of someone who already knew they might not be saved. The next morning, he started looking. The first thing he discovered was that the call really had been made that night from a payphone on the edge of the city to his office number that ruled out a prank. Someone had been looking specifically for him. The payphone stood near an old apartment building on Harrison Street. The building looked gray and tired, with peeling paint and dark windows. No doorman, no security cameras, but buildings like that always had someone who saw everything. An elderly woman in a scarf was sitting on a bench near the entrance. Daniel showed her a photo from the missing persons database. Among them was Emily Morgan, 32 years old, reported missing 2 days earlier. The old woman nodded immediately. Yes, that's her. She lived on the 4th floor. Quiet girl, polite. But the last few days she seemed nervous, always looking out the window. Did she live alone? The woman hesitated. Officially, yes, but a man visited her, often tall, expensive coat. Not her husband. Men who look around like that are never husbands. Daniel went up to the 4th floor. Emily's apartment door was sealed with police tape, under investigation. But something felt wrong when someone disappears under suspicious circumstances. The apartment is usually examined thoroughly. Here, it felt rushed, almost careless. He called a detective he knew, Michael Harris. Missing woman, Harrison Street, apartment 47. What do you have on it? Harris didn't answer right away. Nothing serious. She probably left on her own. Neighbors didn't hear anything. No signs of a struggle. What about the call from the payphone and something about a key? A short pause came from the other end. Daniel, don't dig into this. There's nothing there. And that "don't dig into this" sounded far more suspicious than anything else. An hour later, Daniel was speaking with Emily's former coworker. She worked with her at an antique gallery downtown. Emily was really scared lately. The woman admitted her name was Sarah Collins. She said she had accidentally discovered something she wasn't supposed to know. What exactly? She didn't say, just kept repeating, "If anything happens to me, look for the clock. The clock." Now the phrase from the call started to make sense. Sarah remembered another detail. A week before Emily disappeared, she had examined an antique wall clock brought in by a well-known businessman, Richard Kane, a man with a spotless reputation, connections at City Hall, and several charity foundations, too clean to actually be clean. Daniel found Kane's photo online. Expensive suit, calm eyes, perfect smile. Those were the men people feared the most because the law usually worked for them.
not against them. The gallery still had security footage. It showed Kane bringing in a large antique clock inside a wooden case. Emily examined it. Then suddenly her expression changed. She said something to him, but there was no audio. Kane leaned closer, smiling, and placed his hand on her shoulder, slowly, confidently, like a man who had already made it.
It contained photos, scanned contracts, and audio recordings. Enough evidence to destroy not only Kane, but several city officials along with him. Money laundering, bribes, rigged auctions, illegal antique trafficking. Emily must have found the compartment while examining the clock and realized far too much. But the most chilling file was the last audio recording. It was Emily's voice. If you're listening to this, I'm probably already dead. Richard Kane knows I found the documents. I can't go to the police. There's someone there protecting him. If something happens to me, it won't be an accident. Then another voice appeared in the recording. A man's voice, familiar. Daniel rewound it and listened again. It was Michael Harris, the same detective who had told him that morning not to dig into it. Daniel felt a cold wave spread through his chest. Now everything made sense, why the case had been closed so quickly, why Emily's apartment had barely been examined, why no one was searching for the clock. The police hadn't missed the evidence. They had hidden it. But the biggest question remained. Where was Emily? There was one more photo on the flash drive that Daniel hadn't noticed at first. It showed the interior of some basement, a concrete wall, a rusted pipe, and a number painted in white. Sector 12. Daniel remembered that near the warehouse there used to be an old storage facility divided into numbered sectors. He drove there immediately. Inside it was cold and dark. His footsteps echoed through the concrete halls. The sectors passed one by one. 8, 9, 10. The door to Sector 12 was locked from the outside. His heart started beating faster. He smashed the padlock with a crowbar, pulled the door open, and shined his flashlight inside. In the corner, sitting on an old mattress, was Emily, alive. She raised a hand to shield her eyes from the light and said hoarsely, "I knew someone would figure out the clock, eventually." Later, in a safe place, she told him everything. After discovering the hidden compartment, Kane tried to persuade her to stay quiet, first with money, then with threats. Emily planned to go to the police, but accidentally overheard Kane speaking with Harris and realized she couldn't trust anyone. So she recorded the message, hid the key back inside the clock, and tried to disappear. But they found her first. Kane didn't want to kill her immediately. He wanted to know if she had shared the evidence with anyone. That was the only reason she was still alive. "But why did you call me?" Daniel asked. Emily gave a faint smile. 3 years ago, you found my sister. Everyone else refused to take the case. You didn't. Sometimes people become someone's last hope without ever knowing it. After that, things move quickly.
Daniel gave copies of the evidence to the press, not the police. Once the story went public, it couldn't be buried. Richard Kane was arrested at a charity gala under a storm of camera flashes. Soon after, Michael Harris was arrested too. It seemed like the end of the story. But 2 days later, Daniel received another call. At exactly 11:17 p.m. The screen showed unknown number. He slowly raised the phone to his ear. Static filled the line. Then a quiet female voice whispered, "You opened the wrong compartment." The line went dead. Daniel froze. Because Emily was under police protection, she couldn't have called him. Slowly, he looked down at the ring they had found inside the clock. He hadn't paid attention to the engraving before. Inside the ring were 3 words: for Anna Sector 14. And in that moment, Daniel realized something chilling. The story with the clock had only just begun.